You've got to inspire trust and confidence. So when you go and meet a venture capitalist or a private equity guy, you are the guy that they're investing. They're not investing in your company, they're investing in you. When you look at the two suits here, they're both chartered accountants. What the hell do we know about your technology and your systems? We know nothing, all right? We know how to count the beans in your business. That's what we know. So the truth is that coming to us and presenting yourself, you need to be dynamic, you need to be intelligent, you need to be knowledgeable, you need to show off your skills, your understanding of your marketplace, your customers, the challenges, your key performance area, the thing that differentiates you from the rest of the market. Otherwise, you're wasting my time and yours. When you look at Karen here, you go, this person, I back her. She's energetic, she knows her market, she's been through it, she's experienced it, etc. But that's the whole point. You can't, and it's another thing, you know, you might be the guy who's the brains behind the technology. If that's you, you might not be the guy who goes and pitches this to the private equity firm. You might be the guy who sits next to the guy who pitches to the private equity firm. All right? And acknowledge that. Acknowledge who you are and your skills. You've got to show off you. Is this guy, first of all, is he presentable? Is he on time? Has he got intellect? Does he understand his market? He's going to be going, is this a guy I can give money to? Can I trust this guy with my money? All right? That's what it's all about. So I have to tell you, you've got to be like a Boy Scout. You've got to be in there and you've got to be prepared. You've got to be prepared for everything. You've got to understand your business and you've got to think about it. How would you encourage your father to invest in this business? How do you tell it? Because he doesn't trust you. So you've got to, so you've got to convince your dad to give you like 2 or 3 million rand. You've got to know your facts. You've got to be there and you've got to throw it at him. The first thing is that the timing for fundraising. Most entrepreneurs approach private equity funds and they go, you know what, I need the money in like next week, Wednesday would be great. And that's just not going to do it. You need to give it time. The minimum time in South Africa kind of generally is 6 months. If you're really, really good at what you do, you've got everything lined up, you've delivered a lot of performance, then maybe you can get it in 3 months. And if you go to the IDC, I told Krista I'd stay away. The other thing is that you must achieve as much as possible. It is very important for most private equity funds to go, the person that they're backing is the entrepreneur or the manager. The manager must have enough value in this business, otherwise he's not incentivized. If you get diluted down to 20%, your heart's not in it. You're not going to be able to buy the Lamborghini or whatever it is that you want, or the lifestyle that you want, or to give back to Endeavour as much as you want. So it's very important that you try and drive the business as far as possible before you look for private equity. The other thing is, in the interviews, the guys tend to focus on the technology. So you get the technologist to come into the room and he's talking about the technology. But remember who you're pitching to. Most of the private equity and venture capitalist guys are either experienced businessmen, so they understand broad business, or they're accountants. And yes, there are guys who understand your business, and you'll be lucky to find those guys. But the truth is that the people that you're looking at understand business broadly. They don't want to understand the details of the technology. They'll get an outsourced partner to go and do due diligence on that and check that it's correct. So you need to be presenting more about the business model, how you make money, how you differentiate yourself from your competition, and how you fit into the niche that you're in and why you're going to win. You need a good corporate governance. It's very important. You know, to go to a company and ask them for money and you're unable to provide them with accurate financial statements. Look, some companies start off in CCs and then it's just accounting, an accountant signs off your information. But it needs to be reliable, done monthly, so that people can see your progress, your financial progress. And it doesn't matter that you've had hiccups in months, etc. It's important to show that you're managing your business, you're in control of your business, and all that's in place. Your legal agreements must be in place. So using those 130,000 rands, go and buy the expertise. use friends, whatever it takes, but try and get some level of corporate governance and structure into your business. I do understand how hard it is to actually get a business up and running, to sweat it for a long period of time, and now you get to the guy with the money. And the guy with the money is going, you know, this is a good guy, I'm going to invest in his business, and you say to him, look, I'm looking for, you know, I'm 24 years old, I've started this business, I'm looking for 1.2 million rand a year as a salary, I'd like to have a bonus, except it's not going to happen, all right? It's not going to happen. The private equity guy, he wants you to be incentivized through your equity. He wants to take away the stresses in your mind that distract you from your business. So sometimes it might be opportune to say to him, look, you know, I had to take out of my bond and I can't service it and stuff. Can you give me a little bit out? You know, most private equity funds are happy to facilitate that because they want you to be focused on your business and driving your business and making that 60–70% of your equity worth a hell of a lot of money. That's what they really want you to do. They don't want you to grow rich and fat and lazy out of a salary and bonus. I think you need to address things like the use of funding. You have to be very clear on what you're going to do with the money. And the one thing that I have to say to you is that those chartered accountants, those bean counters, when you go to them and you say to them, I need X for marketing, they don't understand it. They don't understand what is marketing. You can't just say to them, I need to go to market and that's going to take 3 million rands worth of marketing. You need to be much more clear. You need to have a marketing strategy, setting out exactly what you're trying to achieve, because it's a fair amount of money that you're looking for that, let's say, line item. You need to address that clearly for a bean counter, because he's going, what is my return on that? How are you going to deliver it, etc. If you're an endeavor company, it's comforting to an investor. Why? Because you know that there are people behind this management team who can provide support, advice, industry experience. The endeavor team will try and find you somebody that can help you and has specific knowledge to the challenges that you're going through in your industry. And if you haven't got the endeavor background, then you need to find somebody who sits on your board as an advisory board member or something like that that can provide you with that input. Once you get in the process of fundraising, it is enormously distracting for you and your team, enormously. The private equity guys suck your attention so much, and they demand so much of the information. It is better for you to be very well prepared before you start that process, because otherwise your business will suffer. And this is where you get good private equity fund managers and poor ones. And the poor ones will drag things out. They'll take so much of your time, and then they'll penalize you because your business hasn't performed. And the reason for that is because you're going like, geez, I spent all my time with you guys. Well, I wasn't out selling. That's why it's not performing. And you've taken 6 months to do it. So it's better for you to have prepared your documentation, got everything together, so that you can now go to the private equity guy and go, you know what, when you're ready, come in, there's all the files. If you want to come and speak to me, come and speak to me later. Also, try and control the access to information. So your chief technology guy, he's got problems with the technology. You can't afford the distraction. Manage the private equity fund. A lot of private equity funds seem to not say no. They take forever. You know, they have this reputation for taking ever to say no. And the reason for that, fundamentally, is the manager's fault. Because what's happened is the manager's crap. Can I use that word? Crap. He's crap. He comes in, he looks like a dog, he's fast asleep, he's not energy, he's not there, he doesn't inspire that trust and confidence. But the business sounds amazing. So now you've got the private equity guy going, I'm in two minds here. You know, can I back this guy or can't I? I don't want to say no because the business sounds excellent. Let me see if there's somebody else in the team, or maybe I'll bring in a new manager. And so it's your fault that happens. But it is. It's my fault. The truth is that if you're not getting if you're not getting a prompt response from them, the answer is no. And then you have two choices. Either you have to go in there with your A game again, but bring your A game. Really, you might get a second chance at it. But if you don't, or if you're not given that opportunity for a second meeting, the answer is no. They're not going to come back to you. Go and find somebody else. And that's why it's very important for you to have started a year in advance of your need for capital,
Because the best thing, I mean, here we have a banker. The bankers love to lend you money when you don't need it. Private equity, we're a bit the same. We're not quite as bad. But seriously, the thing is that we want to invest in you before damage is done as a result of a lack of funding. Because once it's damaged, it's being damaged. It creates uncertainty, more uncertainty.